So hi, welcome to Noise Podcast. I'm Shane.
I'm Glory.
And we're here with
KI.
I'm D.
Maddie.
And Jaffe, and we are the Oxymorrons. Two R's, baby.
Hell yeah, we're gonna ask
Not
some
one.
we're gonna ask them some questions today about their upcoming album Melanin Punk. So congrats on that, by the way. How do you guys personally feel about it? Because at the time of recording, it's not announced yet.
It's incredible. It's groundbreaking. It's everything we wanted it to be. And we love it.
Yeah, I don't know. We're super psyched about the record. You know, this is like a culmination of a ton of time and sweat and tears, and we really feel like we did something super special that, you know, was just so different and fun and like genuinely us.
Yeah, we're super proud of the work, and we think it's going to be a major contribution to the evolution and the future of like hybrid sounds and genres blurring, less boxes existing.
Fuck yeah.
100%.
Didn't get to hear the full record, but heard the new song that's going to drop with it. Fucking shit's awesome. The songs for the record that are already out have been awesome as well. So stoked on this album.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We can't wait for you guys to hear it. That's the thing. We're super excited to see how people are going to react to the music, because it's us. It's our lifestyle. It's everything in culmination. So it's to finally let other people hear it, because we've been listening to it. We've been creating it. So for other people to hear it and like take it all in, we're super excited for that. So I'm happy that you enjoyed the new single.
Hell yeah.
Awesome. So is there any meaning behind the album title or cover art?
There totally is. Melanin and Punk in itself, and you said that this is going to drop afterwards, right?
Mm-hmm.
So just for context, because there will be a rollout that kind of explains it, that's coming. Melanin Punk in itself is not just what we wanted to do is not just coin the term as just like, oh, a black rock album, or, you know, that, because that's what it just jumps to first. But we wanted to describe Melanin. What Oxys is overall, and what we represent is not just our skin tones, but the community. The community as a whole. And melanin in itself is something that's in everyone. You know what melanin is, but it is in every single human being. And we are going to define that in very different and very cool ways. One of them, since this is going to drop after the album anyway, you'll see when the rollout of the announcement happens, is the code. There is a code. There is the periodic table code for melanin, and we're using that instead of saying the actual word during the rollout. So people can start to think about it more, not just in race, but more in science, the thing that connects us all, no matter what. So and then the punk aspect of it is not, obviously, like Jaffe just said, this album is going to break ground, and as far as genre bending, which we've been doing for a long time. But in itself, it's not a punk album. The punk part of it is the ethos. The punk part of it is the rebellious energy and the rebellious state of mind to kind of do what the fuck you want energy and counterculture, all that stuff that punk represents who we are as Oxymorrons. So titling the album in that kind of a way is something we wanted to do. And then also, yes, it speaks to our blackness. It absolutely does speak to us stepping into a space that has been historically whitewashed and all this other good shit. And we are not quiet or silent about that, nor are we trying to simplify that at all. What we're trying to do is say, hey, we here, identify with us. And also there are so many other points of connection, because as far as our skin tone be, it has been a boundary, it has been a hurdle getting to where we're going. And that's why we're all excited. And that's why Maddie spoke about the blood, sweat, and tears, the crying, everything. To get here has astronomically taken us more than our counterparts, straight up. That's just what it is. We understand it. We know how the world works. We understand rock music. We've been in this space, and it's time. So that the meaning of that album is really, it really, we're going to drive that home and ensure that like gets across.
I wish I had you guys when I was younger getting into the alternative scene. Fuck, dude. Oh my God.
That's why it's so important to us. It's bigger than us. Like, we know that everything that we do is beyond our even this sound. Is literally, that's what we say, it's the culture, it's the lifestyles, everything that's behind what we're doing. So we're just the I guess the vessel to just push things out forward, so everybody else can just go through and do the same thing, have a great time with it. So
Absolutely.
So thank you. And I wish I had us also. That's why we push that. We all here share that experience of being in the scene and being on all levels of it and feeling alone and feeling underrepresented or not represented at all.
Yeah, exactly.
So just to tag on to what Dee said real quick, like the melanin, using the word melanin is very obviously on purpose, but then we still want to bring it back to how inclusive it is, and it kind of goes back to like the fundamentals of like we'd rather be excluded for who we include than included for who we exclude, right? So like melanin still, and when you think of melanin, it's pertain to like blackness and how much of it is in our pigmentation, but bringing it back to scientific, everyone's got it. So it still is a house in which everyone can be welcomed into, even though we're spotlighting, you know, that we have a little more. And how hard it's been to have a little more, you know?
Exactly. And this thing that's solely based on our ancestral terrain and the history of what they've had to the terrain they had to evolve through is the better word. Evolve through is what creates melanin, is what creates this tone. That separation, as far as like the cultural separation, as far as like when it comes to racist separation, that's all human created, man. That's all us not liking and loving each other, and or fearing change or fearing things we don't understand. And I figured instead of sitting in a space where a lot of the time this when you see these things, it's not pure hate, although that does exist. It's more of lack of understanding and lack of education in these things, and lack of exposure to certain things. So it's like, we'd like to let you understand we have a lot more in common than we do that separates us. So let's focus on that.
Absolutely.
Only other thing to add is just like, I know Jaffe talks about this a lot, but you know, we talk about how our mere existence is political rather than us necessarily being like a political band. But you know, when it comes through this album, like we want to show, well, we will show you the ups and downs, we want to show like our anger, but we want to show our joy, and we want to show like our happiness, and how it's perfectly fine to show the range of emotions and not always have to just be angry, even though we will show that, or to be upset about our political spectrum, or you know what's going on. Like we want to show like the full spectrum of not only like who we are as people, but you know how we react as people. And I think that like it's also super important for us to like show that like you know it is political, and being that we can be fucking happy and have a good time too, and you know show how important that is to us as well.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. So can you tell us a little bit about your writing process for this album?
Shit, our writing process overall in general is just our process. I know Jaffe will probably speak to it a little deeper. That's his space as far as like, I don't really because we just write. That question comes up a lot because I guess historically artists have their modes and what they do. The cool thing about us is we do all have our modes, but when it comes to Oxy shit, we just kind of like put it together. Like it's a lot more organic than it is structural. It's not like you never know what's gonna. It's kind of like the music itself. Like it's just kind of like, yo, you're gonna get what you get. And the ideas, these things, they come out of anywhere. Like even like the song Graveyard, where it came from Joff sending something at like 3 a.m. and it just kind of like, it just kind of spills. It's not like this thing where we all like get in the studio and then we sit there and we make songs. Nah, they come from all types of times, experiences, all types of shit is happening. And then next thing you know, these songs come. And then there are times where we get in the studio and we make a fucking crazy song. And that happened with like Justice.
Look Alive was like that too.
Look Alive was like that too.
There's no like rhyme or reason how things get done. Like literally D has like beatboxed a guitar part into a voice note and sent it to us, and that's like become a song eventually. Like we've gotten in the studio and we've written some of our best records in 3.5 hours, like fronted in like, this is done, we want no changes, besides like mixing stuff. Like I think that like that type of like it being organic in that sense is exactly who we are and just how we are as people. Like sometimes we just gets in the studio and it just like works in a couple hours, and sometimes it's like a very weird thought out process that becomes something over time.
I think that it plays into the word of that. That's why we are oxymorons. It's like it's not to reduce stuff. It's not supposed to go that way, but it does. Mm-hmm. Like we're not sitting down going, "All right, let's have a cup of tea, dim the lights," and we just do it like
light a candle.
We just move and like how everything's going. Like even for Green Vision, I was driving in the car and I can't. That part came up and I was like, "Oh, I can't wait to get to the boys," and that's how things start. Like we never just like. We let the universe kind of give it to us, I guess.
Okay.
So, yeah, exactly.
And I think like Rick Rubin lately has made this sort of ideology in terms of songwriting more famous, but he definitely isn't the originator of it. But it's just like we're just there to do what's best for the song, right? So like there are times where like, yeah, Maddie sings a guitar part, or I have something to say about the drums, or D is just like, nah, Ja, you have to sing this hook. Or we're just like, kid, you take 2 verses and D's just going to have a bridge because that's what's best for the song. There's no ego in an Oxymoron song. We don't care about like each person having to have their moment in a song, like whatsoever. It's what's best for the song. What does the song call for? And that's what we're going to do 100% of the time, every time.
See, and this is why I love the fact Jaffe brings that up, because I've never thought of that as like what we do, but it is. That could be a pseudo pattern job, like that. if there was a process, that's the only process. That's the process.
No ego,
no ego at all. And our only rules is it sounds good, it feels good, it is good. And we've said that for years. It's like it doesn't matter. Like you said, if we don't sing on anything, if I'm not on a song at all, like there's songs that were created without me, for instance, like for the album like Head for the Hills. Head for the Hills was a record that Kid and Jaffe got into a room, and the bulk of that record was sent. So when I heard it, it wasn't about inserting myself onto the song because I think the song is fucking awesome and I think I need to add. It's what do I have to add? So I didn't add much to it. I added a small space of that just to give it a different texture, add a texture to it rather than add a verse or feel like I need to force a moment. And we do that all the time. It's really, really cool. I know I don't think a lot of bands go about it that way, but that's one thing we do. It's very egoless.
I wouldn't care if I had not one verse, not nothing. I'll just jump around on stage and have a good time with my bros. Like,
also, like in the best friend kind of way, we are all brutally honest with each other. Like there have been times where I've been like, "Yo, guys, I got this drum part," and they're like, "That's not it." I'm like, "Okay, well, that's
all right."
Like not if it's not lit, or even the other way around, where you might everyone for me, I know because I'm my hardest critic. I might not love a verse, and everybody's like, "Yo, shut the fuck up! This verse is staying. It's awesome." No, you won't write this again.
and sometimes like we'll write something, and you be like, and you yourself, you're excited, and the rest of the guys like, nah. And then maybe like 3 months later, oh shit, now it's the time for it. It's all about timing too, as well.
Yeah. I think that is definitely one of the things that makes us so special. Is just that like the way we use our voices and our roles. Like even Linkin Park, who was one of our biggest influences, was formulaic in that way. Chester was melodic and did the hooks. Mike, was rapping. Sometimes had melodic verses, but he was on the verse. You knew what you were kind of getting. There's going to be a breakdown.
Oh,
we lose him?
No, we lost him.
No,
Damn
we
it,
lost
he was
him.
on to something.
We lost him in a Go Back moment too.
We'll never know.
He was,
Get it back in you.
Yeah, he was really spilling on that one.
He was spitting on that one.
Oh my god!
We'll give him a minute to come back before we move on.
Oh my god,
that's so crazy. But yeah, like that's kind of
it'll be whack. It'd be whack if his phone battery died or something.
Dude, I'm on that, wasn't it?
And he's not, and he's in these streets. That'd be crazy. But yeah, but that's the like Joff was saying, like even like our creative process is what makes it fun. Who we are as a band kind of pours into that ethos. Like you see that very thought process and the creative process is also what spills out on stage. Like rock is very formatic. Like it's like, oh, front man, nah, it's not. Even when we get on stage for sound checks, they'll be like, all right, okay, lead vocal. Be like, no, there is no lead vocal in this band.
Yeah.
You see that? That keeps that dynamic. Is we just want to change that because it's very like bands have that issue where it's like, oh, the front man gets all the focus, but what you're seeing, feeling, creating, what you experience as the song is the collective. It's not just that one person. And for me, I tend to shy away from that attention. Like, nah, it's not like, yo, hey, I'm not, nah. It's Kid, it's this person, it's this. Like, Oh, word, you love Justice? Oh yeah, that was Jaffe on the chorus. That wasn't us. Like, you know, or you like this? Or guess what? You love how that low end dropped when it did? Oh, that was Maddie's idea. Because that's truly what it is. It's not just one person. And you see this all the time where the front man kind of gets all this love. Like, think of your favorite bands. Name the drummer from some of them. I can't even do it for some of my favorite bands. I'd be like, damn, no love to the drummer.
Yeah,
damn,
that guy. I love that guy.
I think Pete Wentz is like the only. It was one of the few who like isn't the front man, but he's so popular. He's a little bit more popular than Patrick Stump, which is crazy.
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense.
About this, but we look at each other like more of a boy band than anything else.
Yeah, pick your poison, pick which one you like of us. You're gonna love the collective, but we all bring something unique and different to the table, to this gumbo, and this is why you like it. You remove one of the spices, this thing will absolutely be different. So no one is more important than the other.
Absolutely. And when we're talking about your writing process and like how organic it is, do you guys like kind of not like force an idea out, but spend a ton of time with it if you can't quite crack it, or do you just kind of move on to the next thing because the ideas are always flowing?
We move. It depends on the scenario.
Sometimes both.
Yeah, sometimes a little bit of both. Like we've moved on from ideas like just because we know it's like right in that moment, we all just feel like we're forcing something. We will not force anything. So the minute it feels very, very forced, we go, okay, we might need a break from this idea and may pivot. And then sometimes we know like we're on to something and it's not like we're forcing something. It's more like we're figuring it out. And that's one of my favorite parts of us. Like they'll be like, oh, that's the part right there. Hold up. And then we just stay locked in on it until it's perfect. Or a song like Green Vision that went through like 17 renditions until we got to the one that was finally released, where it's like, yeah, like we it's just it all varies in that space.
I mean, like even with like a record like Graveyard, where it's like the verse that you all hear is my second verse, because I hated it the first, but we all didn't like it, and I was like, all right, I got to go back and I have to figure it out. So and then we took a break from it. I went back out till I was washing dishes and it just hit me. and then we went to the studio and then we back at it again. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to just take your time. It's like I like to view it as like I like doing painting. Sometimes if someone's painting a picture, they don't just like force themselves to keep adding the colors. You just take a break and then you come back to that picture later. And you see so many artists who come back. If you ever go into an artist room, you'll see half of a painting done because they went away and they come back to it. Yeah. So we treat music the same way. Like sometimes you gotta come back, and sometimes it just flows. You know.
Speaking of coming back, here's Jaffe. He's back.
Welcome back.
My bad.
Yeah.
I was something good too. I was feeling
gospel. We were saying that. We was like, yo, he's spitting. Go ahead, yo, Jop. If you still got it, come right back in, because I was like, yo, he's spitting. Damn you, technology.
I just yelled at everybody at my job, and I lost my train of thought. I was like, y'all don't realize what you just did.
It's all good. D picked it up for you. It's all good.
Yeah, I knew the bros would. We always got each other's back.
Yo, never. You see, this is what we mean about it. Things just happen. This is our world, and we just accept it. We enjoy like how spontaneous things are. And how we do things. We do obviously like to control things and prepare is the better word. But I love how spontaneous things happens, and we always kind of roll with the punches. Like even our live show, a lot of people assume that it's like rehearsed or the way we move and all these other things. The only thing that's rehearsed is us learning the songs. What we do on stage every day, as dynamic as it looks, it is literally what's happening in the moment.
I need to speak on this as someone who sits behind a drum set the whole time. I just don't understand the amount of like spins and jumps. I'm like, oh, they're going to crash into each other and everyone's dead. Or they're gonna I'm just like watching in the background going, oh, don't, okay. All right, you did that? All right. Oh, that's going to be like a mic flip. Oh, don't hit. Okay.
You're like, don't come near me. Don't come near the kit, please.
Oh, no. And we do come near the kit.
They come near the kit.
Yo, kid favorite place is the kit.
Jumping off it and shit. You're like, this.
I'm always shaking that shit.
Watching from a background, I'm just so fucking nervous.
Kid likes to shake Maddie's kit. And I always find some way to limbo the front of Jaffe's guitar. Like the amount of times that shit passes the front of my face, and I just go, "Whoo, that was close."
The whole show is bullet time.
I think I saw you guys. I've seen you guys a bunch of times, but I saw you guys open for Set It Off in April of what was it last year now? And you guys had sound issues the entire time, and we're still entertaining as fuck. Like that's how good your live set is one of your mics isn't working, and you guys are still entertaining as shit.
Yeah, we just got because that's the show. It must go on, and like you said, like there's so even when a show is perfect. There's shit that you guys don't know is happening. Like Maddie, there's been time the music cuts off, or Maddie has no thing in his ear. Jaffe got to fix a string, but he's playing with this thing over here. There's so much shit going on, and we're all in motion 100% of the time. So I'm not gonna lie, it's nuts.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we just learn to be each other's crutches at the end of the day. Like if something, if my mic goes, like the cord breaks, my mic goes flying, yo, just pass me your mic, and then we keep it going. Like,
because we know each other's parts. We know what's coming as far as what needs to be done vocally. So it's just like, if I know my mic is out of here, I'm gonna try to get the kids, or I'm gonna try to get the Jaffes, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It's actually fucking ridiculous how you guys are always like on the same wavelength, and it's just how fluid you guys are and how you just work perfectly together. I'm blown away. I'm speechless just hearing this.
Thank you.
I think thank you. Yeah, like seriously, thank you. I'm glad that it's perceived that way, and I think that seamlessness that we have is it speaks to the relationship we have outside of just music. We're really family. We're really brothers. We're really we are really friends. Anything, whatever title you want to put on it, we are that in real life. Like we look out for each other. We check in on each other. Everything. And we're part of each other. Every major decision, every life thing. Like that's truly a brotherhood, which you see. So that's why it's like, we don't need to choreograph anything on stage. We're on a wavelength. We kind of know what everybody's gonna kind of do. And we feel it. I think that's what the thing is. Yeah. Sometimes I can feel how close Jaffe is to me, rather than actually seeing him.
It's like I don't know if any of you guys like have any siblings or like best friends. You know how you could look at your best friend without saying nothing, and I know exactly what you guys are talking about.
Yep.
That's how we are. So like on stage, Josh, whoever, they can look at me, and I'm like, I know exactly. We don't need to speak. I look at you, I'm like, all right, this is
or we could look. I'll look at Maddie, and depending on the level of his eye bulge or like what he's doing, I'd be like, okay, he either needs help or he needs me to hurry the fuck up, and I'm talking too much. Like, there's so many of that, you know. So I know it's really cool. It's really, really cool. And like saying it out loud makes me think like, damn, like we really do have this weird ass wild dynamic, and it must be nuts seeing it from that perspective, because that's a perspective I never get. Even if I watch video, all that, I never will ever fully understand that perspective.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Damn. All right. So what song off the album took longest to write, and which one is each of your own personal favorite?
Oh shit, that's a good question. I like when people throw the good questions out that make us go, "What the fuck?" I don't know.
What you think?
No. Damn.
I'm
literally looking. I have to like physically look at the album.
At the track list.
I'm looking at the track list because I'm like, all right.
It's not even announced yet. We'll give you a break on that one.
Let's tackle the first one. The hardest. What was you said the most difficult one to write?
Yeah.
Yeah. Which one took the longest? Which one was?
What song? We could. I think we could do that.
I think Mike's Shinoda Flow took the longest to be like to get the end product, but that wasn't really on our end. That was like more mixing and stuff, and like finding the right.
That's
like,
what I'm saying.
all the songs are pretty. Yeah, they were written and produced and like at least put down all pretty quickly, like all within the same kind of time frame.
Honestly, to tell you the truth, the one that I think would even fit in that bracket, if there is one job, would be Rhea. Because remember how we played with that chorus for a little bit? Like we really had to figure that one out. When you think about like figuring out a song and how we wanted to go about it, and like Canner was in the studio for that. Jason was there in the beginning, and then we switched from the idea that Jason initially had and what we were thinking. So like I think that was the one that we really took a little bit more time with, and it didn't flow as quickly as the others.
That's
and also Last Call.
The answer to that question. Yes, Last Call we've had for a long time.
Yeah, Last Call. There was a moment where Troy, they weren't ready to release the song, or we thought that there wasn't going to be the feature wasn't going to happen. Also piecing it together, figuring out like, hey, we love the vocal because we wrote the chorus and had it, and then we sent it to Troy. They really were like, oh, okay, we love the song, so they added their parts. Like that was a process also. So it's a tie between Re-Up and Last Call in that space.
All right.
Yeah, I think that it's usually other stuff like outside logistic and figure everything else, but like just. I guess sometimes creative music, it usually works out in the same day, usually.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
When it comes to the four
for
of
us,
and
I was gonna say for you guys,
yeah, for us, because it doesn't come like that for everyone. I've heard stories.
Every other band, step your game up.
Right, I'm saying.
every other band we interview is like, yeah, this song took a year and a half, and it's like, bro, just
you guys wrote this album in like 2 days. Like, come on, man.
There's records that we finished probably like 2 hours, 2.5, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
records,
but
records
also,
or songs?
But
songs. A song is a record. I'm talking like I'm in the 1980s.
I was like,
Justice was about 4 hours beginning to end.
From scratch
to song to record to like an 80% mix done on it. That was 3-4 hours.
God damn.
Wait, is that like coming with demos, or is that just kind of
that's
straight scratch.
What the fuck?
Straight scratch, no idea, no nothing, just from the air. So was Look Alive. Look Alive,
Look Alive, same thing.
Yeah, so was Look Alive. Look Alive was one of those records that just. And if we're gonna speak to like, if I could pick a favorite, it would absolutely feel like the culmination of our project. It would be Look Alive because, and then the story of itself, just. When we made Look Alive, I think, at least for myself, we figured out the sound. We figured out Oxy, like I don't know why, I just felt like, oh, we got it. Because Look Alive speaks to everything we do in a very, very cool, unique way, and just how it was created, even the different voice textures, how we went about things, the breakdowns, everything about that record speaks to the new age, I don't know, genre bending, whatever you want to call it, to that. Look Alive is going to be the framework for, at least I believe, for a lot of songs. Because people could look at that song and go, wow, they dynamically put a bunch of shit in a song that naturally does not go together. And it all fucking works and it all connects. And that's why I love Look Alive. Like, even for my verse, one of the things about my verse that I tried something different. My vocal tone is different because I have the second verse. Is I chanted that's inspired by Missy Elliott. I wanted to sound like her and be like her. What would she do if she was on this record? And that's where we went about it. So it's like all that kind of stuff. So that would be my choice. I wonder what everybody else's choice would be.
I mean, for me, it's the same thing. It's weird because like, it's like, all right, because like the hook and the verse ideas that I came up with, the tone that I wanted to capture, because it's funny you said Missy Elliott, and this is gonna sound very oxymoronic as fuck of what I'm about to say, because obviously I wanted to add, just like D did, he added his own twang to it. But I was like, what would Bad Bunny do? Like, what the fuck? Like why would he be on this record though? But I feel like that's the key to like to creating something new. It's to being like, all right, it's like we sit there and try to do We Are the World in many different forms. Like, all the time, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, we just have the vocal ability to do it. So when we heard that, but then it's hard also. It's hard also because like I have personal connections in very weird ways to a lot of songs on this album. Like it's hard for me to just be like, I said Look Alive, but then I look at the track list and go, fuck, I love Graveyard Work. I love Insomnia. I don't know why. And I love Melanin Punk. Melanin Punk in itself. That song was, I think that was the beginning of us going, fuck it, we're going to go wild on this album. Because I think we made Melanin Punk before Look Alive, if I remember, right?
Yes. Yeah. We did.
We were in the rehearsal studio, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, look
I don't remember
like the most like effective song, as they were saying, for the reasons they said it. In my opinion, like I think it's going to be like the blueprint to a lot of like bands now entering this sort of hybrid space and wanting to do their own take on sort of a rap rock thing. And that song just kind of gives us the most effective like blueprint to doing that. But mine is, and has been since we made it, it's been fucking Melanin Punk. And it's just like, it was personally, yeah, it was the first time I used my vocal not in like a big rock melodic way, but was like kind of like sort of like rapping, speaking. It gives me this like Fatboy Slim vibe that I just can't escape. For some reason, I think of Fatboy Slim when I hear that song, and I don't really know why yet, but it's there. It's there somewhere. And then
you know what's crazy? When I hear it, I think of. I'm sorry. I was just saying, when I hear you, I was just saying when I hear that part, it reminds me so much of like when like Linkin Park would do like the DJ of Linkin Park.
Which we put.
And Tony Hawk Pro Skater, bro. Like when I hear that, I feel like that song would be on repeat. Like especially the chorus. Listen, shut up. I would just play that all fucking day. Like that song, like I just love that record.
Exactly.
Like,
and I think like the arrangement wise too. You know, we were even because we're very close to Chris number 2 from Anti-Flag. And you know, as we were writing these records and showing them to people, you know, he's like, well, I think he was like, some people suggested we make it more of a classic song formula, like chorus, verse, bridge, outro. And we were just like, nah, but you know what's more punk than that is doing none of that, actually.
So like, saying, fuck that.
So like the song title inspired, you know, that song inspired the album, the way we're going to go about the album, the genre, the movement we're building. And in itself, just like everything down to the arrangement of that song is so what we're doing right now. You know, and I think it's going to go above a lot of people's heads. But when you know the details, like that song encompasses everything, the whole album, and how much we don't give a fuck about anybody else's rules. Like that song is it right there.
It's funny when you say like that's gonna be the album favorite, like the album favorite.
Joe Job. On the low, that shit's gonna be that shit is gonna be the pretty people watch, but I'm not gonna let that happen on the level right. It doesn't get a shot. We're gonna push the hell out of that record. No,
I mean think it's gonna low.
Now, I'm talking about making sure it gets focused on. Watch. It will get focused. Yeah, that's what I mean. I know it's going to get – because Pretty People got fan love. That's never been focused on. If that record was focused on, it would have been out of here. But I want to make sure we focus on that song because I even hearing the way you explained it, some of it I never saw it in that lens, but I do totally agree with because we were just doing it, and you're right. Like I remember when Chris was like, "Yo," and I was like, "Yo, let's see if we can formulate it." And then we tried, and we like, "Nah, fuck that. The record is great the way it is." So I remember that.
I think like subjectively, it's not. Let's just say the best song on the album. But it is by far the most powerful. Like it is, it carries so much weight in 1 minute and 50 seconds. I think that song carries more weight on its shoulders than, in my personal opinion, the rest of the songs.
And it was also the song where I started.
But then I'm like, yo, fucking Head for the Hills, bro.
Yeah, that's what I was
saying. Head for the Hills. Listen, we added that to my Muay Thai team. Like when we train, we added that to the playlist. And dudes get exponentially more aggressive when the Head for the Hills is playing. I was like, yo, I thought we was only doing 50% here. I know dudes get hyped. Like, and then the Kid Bookie verse. Like was so dope.
I will tell you, I've become a weird like Head for the Hills being in the top tier for me recently, only because I mean this like in no negative way possible. This record is so fucking weird and and like all like I just remember Kid was just in with Jaffe and they were like making some like Tyler the Creator-esque beat, and what this came from what we started with is it's like nuts. It's almost like just like a metal dubstep record. It doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's I get so hyped about that.
I love the fact that you even brought up because when I first heard it too, you would have thought if you heard the demos and how they went, you would have thought that Tyler and Pharrell was in the studio with us. It kind of has that vibe to it. But like you said, where it ended up and what, of course, clearly that influenced it, but where it ended up is insane. And I'll mention it again, like that Kid Bookie verse is awesome because we sent it to him with no like parameters. Like, yo, do what you do because we like to do what we do. And when he sent back Eminem on steroids, I was like, what? I did not expect him to attack the song the way he attacked the song. And I didn't realize, like, even within that spot, I was like, yo, how do you make Head for the Hills more aggressive and swaggy in the process of it already being there. Like it was already there and the energy went up. So I was like, yes. And how do you rhyme over drum fills like that? Like it was just certain shit that
that's the crazy part to me. It's where he chose to do his verse. It was just like, he's like, no, I'm
forced him. No, I kind of forced him. I sent that frame. I kind of forced him. I just can't believe he did it.
Regardless, who has decided to basically rap over a build up to a breakdown? Like that's no one's
rapid fire too, dude.
Yeah,
like
fucking crazy.
Yeah, not slow and swaggy. He went rapid fire, and I was just like, bro, when did you breathe? When did you breathe? And then he turned that around for us so quickly and was so like the process of it was so dope. Like I gotta give a lot of love and shout outs to Kid Boogie. Like everything he says and represents is exactly who he is. And I love that. And that's because that's our ethos, being unapologetically yourself. And even like for the song, like even business side of the song, he was just like, yo, no, I fucking love that shit. I don't need any points. I don't need nothing. Fuck it, free. And I was like, no, we giving you points, bro. This is how we do this. But I appreciate the sentiment, but you did some really dope shit for us. So we will hold it down.
Hell yeah. All right.
I love it.
So how did the track list for the album come about? Did you guys write the opener for the opener, close be a closer, shuffle around and see what fits? What was that process like?
No, this is one of the worst parts of making it.
We're really getting into it now.
Because that's the hardest part. We had all of it. There was no open. I mean, the songs kind of presented themselves in a way. Like Enemy always felt like an opener to us, especially once it was done. We were like, yeah, this is a good intro, and it's the first song we put out. But yeah, this is actually the hardest part. We spent some time talking about this and trying to figure out what was best flow of it.
Yeah, we had lists. Everybody had their own list.
We all created our own playlist and then went and like showed it to each other, and then from there
there were similarities.
We do everything together.
Yeah, there were similarities in a lot of the lists, and then there were just like a couple of things that was formatic. And even though I still stick with the decision we made, even though, fellas, I'm gonna say this because the other day as I've been bumping it, I was like, it would have been real balls to the wall, nuts on the table if we decided to throw Head for the Hills where we originally had it. Like it would have been kind of fucking crazy. And I'm like, I know we made the right decision, but you know that the rebellious side of me is like, man, we should have just said fuck off.
right.
Honestly, he actually had a great like thing towards the end, like when we were coming to like the decision process where like it kind of hit the nail in the coffin was basically just like, I don't want anyone listening to this record to know what they're going to get next. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what we came to the final list that we came up with. It is like, I don't want anyone to be like, oh, well, I get it. I get it. Or like this record, of course, is going to come after this. Like, it's like, we want the whole thing to be like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, shit. Okay. Oh,
no.
So like every track, if you notice with the track listing and how it flows, I'm not sure how much of it you heard because you guys said you haven't heard the full record, but the way the track listing flows is meant to give you a wave of our abilities rather than it just being like, oh, one part of us in your face, because a lot of records split in that way. It'd be like, oh, if you blend genres, one side is this side and one side is that side. And we're like, nah, we made the track listing kind of like our songs. Everything is just waving and it's just going. It's like one big playlist.
Fucking stoked to hear the full thing with the track list and everything.
Yeah.
You guys are gonna enjoy this one.
Hell yeah.
I can't wait. So would you guys be able to tell us where your headspace is at while you were creating this record?
Ooh, she got you out here slinging the good questions. Like, here you go. I got another one for you. Behind the back, between the legs. Let's go. That's a wild question because our headspaces vary daily, hourly, seconds. Like I came on this call in a different headspace than I am currently in right now, which I love it. So creating the album, at least for me, I go through a wave of emotions and I deal with like a lot of the anxiety and a lot of things in that kind of space. And we all do kind of in our own ways. So in creating a collective project like an album, the headspaces, honestly, we're sometimes in the wildest, but for some strange reason, we tend to, if we're not all collectively in the same headspace, separate members are always somehow in the same headspace. Like Graveyard Words is a good example of that. Jaffe sent that to me at like 3 a.m. while he was waving through whatever emotion he was going, and he had this idea. He sent the idea to me, and I was in the very same headspace. I was up 3 a.m., couldn't sleep. That's why it says never been afraid of demons. Oh, no, not like all those things, they were just happening. So we connected in that kind of a way on that record, and then brought everybody else into that space. Or versus like Head for the Hills, where Kid and Jock were probably just in a fun swaggy mode creating that, because I wasn't there for the creation of that. I added into that record. So it's kind of like, so our creative headspace, it's wherever the hell all four of us are at the moment, and hopefully it connects.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I don't know. It's always random. I can't even fully say. What I can say is that we all are like we want to win. That's it. Like we want to win, and we just want to make the greatest like piece of art that we can for the time. And like even now in this space, we're like, oh man, what we're gonna create next is gonna be greater, because it's part of us being artists and just learning and growing. But I would say the main headspace. After that, things change. Like whatever emotion that we're feeling, like, yo man, I'm gonna pour it out on this record right here, or however, like even like we talking about Graveyard Words, like I came up with my part, like I said, I was washing dishes and it just hit me, like the first few lines just hit me, and I was like, all right, it's time to go, because I felt like I was in a moment where I felt like, because I'm a nice guy, but sometimes people take that niceness for weakness.
Yeah.
So that's why the first line was like, hit me if my mood's right, watch what you're saying, bitch, I'm too nice. And then that sparked, because I just went through that moment with someone, and then from there it just went.
And it's funny, see how you see what's wild. I've been listening to that song forever, and it's one of my like favorite verses of yours in general. And I love it. And and you see how like interpretation of where Headspaces is at. I thought you was just being swaggy as fuck. Bitch, I'm too nice. Like, bitch, I got skills. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yo, I never connected like, nah, I'm just too nice of a person.
That's what I was saying. That's why I said hit me if my mood is right, because you might get the nice guy, might not. Like, watch out what you're saying, bitch, I'm too nice. Like,
I just discovered something about our album right now.
You guys have been learning so much about the record during this interview. I love it.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting this powwow for us.
Right? Word. Send the invoice later. Thank you for the therapy session. Okay. We've unpacked this album. Now my mind is really blown. I did not, because it's one of my favorite lyrics. I'm even in my mind, because you know me, I'm always on stage. So when we make records, in my mind, I'm already seeing how it's being performed, what we're doing. And I'm like, when he say that part, I'm going to go crazy with that. And then it's actually not what it was. So I might need to change the energy on that.
Keep that energy, because it's a double entendre, because at the same time, it's like, because I believe even when you're like at your lowest, always be at your highest at the same time. Like, it's like, even if like, it's like the idea of like,
Oxymorron.
It's like when you break up with somebody, you don't want to get caught looking crazy. You always got to outside looking great.
Yeah.
That's true. Word.
Know if I'm crying or not.
But back to Kid's point, though, I'd say if there is like one consistent headspace we were in, it's that we want to win, and that's it. Because there's a bunch of records in the vault that we thought were going to be on this album, or that we wanted to be on this album. But you know what? Like exactly, yeah, literally. But when it was time to like put it all together, winning meant actually let's save that for later. Or you know what? That actually isn't working out or coming out the way we thought. Let's not force it right now. Let's go with what we have and what's presenting itself as to be the most winning collection of songs. That's always, I guess, what we to answer the question. Yeah, to answer the question a little more straightforward. Like that's the consistent headspace we're in. Is that like we want to win, and winning for us means like again like making monumental, like creating a new blueprint and creating like a blueprint for a generation of bands that come after us that will look more like us. So there are less people like yourself, Gloria, and us that said, damn, I wish I had them when I was younger. There will be those bands for those kids. And that's what we really want to establish. Aside from being bigger than the Beatles, for sure, we want to leave something behind. I think it's more important for us to leave something behind that's powerful and impactful, and then like, just has that influence for centuries to come.
Yeah, absolutely. And I agree with that, because even that sentiment of like, hey, I wish, like what you said earlier when you were like, I wish I had you guys growing up. That's something even our current manager said. Like when he first met us was like, wow, like because Vaughn is a black dude who's been in the scene and he manages a lot of really cool bands. Killswitch Engage is to be one of them. I mean, I remember him saying that, like, yeah, like I want to work this project not because I know it could just be successful, but coming up in the scene, I would have loved you guys, what you represent. And that's for us, that's the success. Obviously, we can't front. I want the Grammys, I want all that shit. Like Javé said, I want to be bigger than the Beatles. It would be a lie to say that. But if this album doesn't culminate to that, but it makes that change, it makes that gap, it influences the band that does become bigger than the Beatles, then we've done our jobs and we set that path. Because even being on tour, we were on tour with Fishbone, and I'll never forget this. As we shared stories and experiences, Angelo and those guys were just like, "Hey, like it's wild that we're still fighting the same things they were fighting when they were coming up." So they felt like they didn't blaze the path, and so they made sure to drill home to us, like, yo, make sure this is bigger than you guys, and make sure when you do it to the max and leave that foundation. So those who come to, don't just kick the door open and get in there and do what you do, blow the whole fucking thing down so everyone else behind you can have a clearer path. And that's what we feel like we're trying to do. That's the goal.
100%.
Love that.
Damn right.
So this question should be super, super quick. Off the top of your head, I want you to describe this album for new listeners in 3 words. No more, no less. All 4 you have to do it. 3 words each.
Just 3 words?
Magnificent, sexy, and outrageous.
What was the first one?
Magnificent.
Magnificent.
Nice. Right.
You said magnificent, sexy, and outrageous. 3 words. I don't know. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go with my 3 ones. My favorite, 2 of my favorites. Disciplined, consistent, and groundbreaking.
Nice.
Damn.
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with fuck your expectations.
Yeah.
Love that.
I am hungry. No,
Maddie's like, can we hurry this the fuck up, man? I gotta eat lunch.
I'm going with Suck It Society.
Nice.
Oh,
Suck It Society. Okay, let's do that.
Yeah.
And then great Oxy fashion. None of our answers make sense, but they make complete sense at all.
Once you hear the record, it'll all make sense.
Yeah, it'll all make sense. We're just this wild anomaly. It's been.
I just think if you take all of our words, you get to know who we are.
True.
Instantly.
Oh, shit!
You each remember, like, I just heard everybody's word, like, literally explains who we are.
Mm-hmm.
Yo, that's wild. Because when Jafe said his, I was like, "Yep, that's Jafe." I was like, "Yep, burn this whole bitch down if he needs to."
You know it.
That is true.
Got matches. I got matches in my back pocket, always ready.
Yo,
Right.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yo,
that also shows I'm always thinking about the next thing I'm going to eat, so that's cool.
That is true.
Bro, me too.
You are the foodie, my God. Maddie is the foodie, so it had to connect to food somehow.
I wasn't going to mention anything, but I was at a Jason Fest. You guys were the only band I kept seeing like around on day 2. Every single time I saw you guys, food in your hands. I was cracking up.
We're grown boys.
You guys were standing behind like the vegan stand eating. I was standing in line for the bathrooms. I look up in the VIP. You guys are eating the VIP food. I'm like, this is fucking hilarious.
Did you see what we do on stage? You see what we do on
how much protein and fuel you need to do that on stage?
Exactly.
I was eating my fucking chickpea wrap, watching you guys fucking run around on stage, and then later on in the day, you guys are standing behind the snack stand eating. I'm like, this is great. This is great.
And we also don't care. Like, that's one of our things at festivals we love. People are always like, "Oh, you guys are so approachable." I'm like, yeah, I'm a regular human being. I don't need to sit backstage in the quote unquote coolest world. We don't give a shit about backstage. We're gonna come out. We're gonna hang out with the fans. We're gonna try this food because the backstage food is kind of whack anyway.
The VIP food's better anyway.
Sometimes
it's not always not lit because I'm not gonna lie. Sonic Temples meals, elite. I took some of that salmon home.
Oh, salmon. Okay, now.
Yeah.
Damn.
Okay. Salmon.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
Like, what is going on?
Maybe I need to form a band.
Out of Jason, we made friends with the bouncer, and he gave us his food voucher ticket. So I went and got crab fries. Shit was great.
Nice.
Crab fries?
Yo, I'm tight. I didn't know that was a thing. See, niggas keeping secrets. They keeping food secrets. No,
I can't believe this.
That's
I didn't know
lit, though.
Well, I'm gonna start taking leftovers with drums mid-set.
Yo, crab fries though, that sounds incredible.
That sounds scrumptious.
I mean, you guys were getting them for free. They were charging the plebs over here $15 for them. You know.
We're not getting
Yo,
we don't get everything for free. They try to spin you. I tend to go to the people who've been like, "Oh my god, I just saw your set." Yes, let's do this.
Exactly. Yes, you know, you should.
Yo, so I'm
This
saying
lady
though,
trying to sell me a
Slap
bottle of water for $5. I told her to go play.
No, that shit's ridiculous.
You crazy?
Yeah, that's crazy.
I said, "I'm be okay. I'm not that thirsty."
Exactly. I'll find something backstage.
Yeah, like there's definitely water
backstage tastes fine. It's the food.
Yeah, exactly. It's not all backstages too. It's just sorry, Jason Fest. We love you. The festival was awesome. We had a blast, but the food was not that great. It wasn't. I'm sorry. This is us being unapologetically honest, like we always say we are.
That's great.
It's all good.
From New York, bro. We're gonna keep it real.
Yeah. We still love you. We had a blast. We play it again. We would just not bring our own food.
Exactly. Bring lunchboxes.
Yo, lunchbox. I'm not gonna say nothing because that's another thing that I'm mapping out for some merch. So I was like,
we need. I always wanted to be on a lunchbox, especially since
it's already happening. Yeah, I told you it's gonna be a blend of really cool hip hop / metal shit with a bunch of boy band merch. It's gonna be great.
I love it.
I've been looking up toothbrush. I'm just saying.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's what I mean. I'm talking about the most ridiculous shit. We just gonna make it because it's so.
Toilet paper.
Toilet paper.
Yo, and think about everything.
Yeah, you guys are on each.
Awesome.
Wipe. You can, and the Instagram post can be like, you can wipe your ass with our faces, like that.
No,
that's a selling point right there.
I love that. I love that.
Low key. Listen, I think the irony of how many conversations we have pro and against eating butt in the car to end up on toilet paper would be real full circle.
These are full debates.
Y'all can leave that in the interview if you need to, but those are
leave that shit in there. Yeah, we do wild. Our van rides and bus rides, please, like
I'm just saying, toilet paper was essential, and you see what happened during the COVID with the way they was acting.
Oh, word!
They were crazy. They were crazy.
Also, I didn't think about toilet paper with like our faces on it. I'm talking like bobblehead heads on it. It's gonna be dope. Watch. That's actually a really good idea.
Really cool as fuck, though.
Yeah, yo. I got a lot of crazy Mel.
We got you melanin wipes. Melanin wipes.
Okay, see, now we're cooking. Now we're cooking.
This is how it works with music.
See what we talk about? This
is crazy.
It just happens.
You guys just got 30 new merch ideas here.
Right.
Yeah. Quicker than a song. Yo, melanin wipes. My mind is blown. This is crazy.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is beautiful. Melanin wipes. Oh my god.
Balance the alternative on every cheek.
And that's another thing too. When you see that reminded me of when you see the real quick, because I know we're gonna end soon. When you see the guy that you've been seeing on all our artwork with the ski mask, that's Mel. His name, that's Ramel. He's the black punk rocker. He's very lonely, and that's why the songs have been rotating in the way they're going. He's going through his wave and he's running through the scene. Like you said, he's alone. No one sees him. So Enemy was him trying to tell everybody, like, hey, I'm not your enemy, man. I'm here. I belong in this space. Then Last Call is him drinking out his sorrows because he's going through things and he's trying to suppress it with alcohol. So Graveyard Words you will see soon when all of that gets revealed and all that. And then he'll roll into Look Alive and then he'll roll into the full album. So there's always a story being told, even when you're not noticing it.
Damn.
Hell yeah.
So for these last couple of questions, we're actually going to shift away from music, if that's okay with you guys.
Nope. No, I'm just joking.
Okay.
I'm just joking.
Like, fuck, okay, there goes the interview. All right. So we're actually going to go straight to Death Row.
Boom.
So if you're on Death Row, what would your last meal be with a drink?
Oh, I was like, what the fuck, the records? I was like, what they
No.
You guys were signed.
Unfortunately not.
I said, signing the Death Row, all they give you is a meal?
No advance, nothing?
No, nothing. Yo, they give you a plate and a drink. Make this album.
That's why Snoop left. Snoop said, fuck that.
Yo, that's crazy.
All right. Yeah, it doesn't matter because it's a rap. So all right, I don't violate myself because I'm like I don't eat a lot of shit. Like I don't eat fried foods, but I'm fucking. Low key, it'll be General Tso's chicken.
Ooh,
with pork fried rice. I'm bringing it back to like New York, the hood.
All right, and how you washing it down?
What you gonna wash it down with?
With the Bev?
Yeah, what's the Bev?
It's gonna be. It has to be like alcoholic beverage. So I'm gonna probably drink a Paloma. Fuck it. Yeah, we gonna get wasted.
Okay.
I'm gonna get wasted. Fuck
this one is very hard because I got shit I really fucking like, and I'm like, damn, this is just not gonna be easy at all. If I had a last meal, all right, let me break it down. I'm not gonna do Mexican. I'm not gonna do Mexican.
That's my favorite.
I'm not gonna do Mexican. I gotta eliminate things because I love tacos and burritos. Like I just gotta eliminate things. I'm not gonna do a hood meal. So I'm not gonna do that. So you know what? Yeah, if push came to shove, it's gonna be Mediterranean. All right. If I'm gonna go out, I'm going out with a chicken shawarma platter.
Oh.
Listen.
Okay.
Extra garlic sauce.
Mm-hmm.
Tahini and tabbouleh. Yo, matter of fact, just throw it all on the plate.
Yeah.
And then to wash it down, this is when y'all come back though.
Okay.
I'm gonna do a passion fruit mezcal margarita. Let's go.
Yeah,
Low-key, since you said Mexican, you said last shit. Yo, I'm making a General Tso's burrito. Fuck that.
It don't make sense, but it's gonna work. Now we get creative. You see?
All right.
That's
all right. Yeah. I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
What you got, Maddie? This is going to be the great one.
We're going 28-day braised crown of duck breast.
Oh,
see what I mean?
We're going parsnip puree with brown buttered apples, super jam, and we'll go with collard greens. We're gonna wash that down with a Chetanuta pop from 2009.
Damn.
So take the
see this is bougie ass Maddie that y'all don't know.
Maddie got dates. Maddie got dates in a number of days.
Yeah,
he had so much time to think about it, man. He came prepared.
Exactly.
See, that wasn't prepared. That's just Maddie. Don't realize that was off the cuff. He just knows his shit. That when it comes to food, I've never had a bad meal with Maddie ever. When we go to restaurants, I allow him to select my meal. I've never had a bad meal.
I love that.
I'm serious.
I love that.
Yeah,
the only time I've had bad meals with Maddie is when I choose my food and then look at his.
Oh.
Yeah,
like,
goddamn
fuck, I could have had that.
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I'll take what he has.
I didn't even see that on the menu. That's just crazy.
So I'm gonna look over from my chamber and be like, whatever Maddie's having, I'll have that. I'd have to go full Dominican on this one. I need my mango, my queso frito, my tres golpe. I'm gonna wash it down with an ice cold presidente. But the way the Dominicans do it, because in the U.S. the presidente isn't served cold enough here. In DR they serve it cold enough where it's just icy. You know what I mean? Because the sun is hot. And then what happens is right before I have one last bite left, all my anarchist friends are gonna bomb the prison and let me out, and then we're gonna go to Cuba. I'm gonna run away. You're never gonna catch me.
So technically, you don't die.
You just got a free meal, basically.
You got a really good. All right. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, what's up?
The question is, you have to pick one chaos survival meal. So now one of them is just bread, mayonnaise, and tomatoes. Or Joffrey left. Or you have to have ketchup and pasta. That's it. And noodles.
Okay, crazy. What? I have not had that second one before. Fuck.
So the first one is just mayonnaise, bread, and tomato.
Yeah.
Other one is ketchup and noodles. That's it.
So this is which one you picking? Is this what
I grew up
we're
eating the tomato and mayo bread thing. I still eat that shit. So
see?
Yeah.
You were never gonna
that's just delicious. Like a tiny bit of salt, maybe some basil if you have it.
You know, this is a loaded question because one time me and Kid got to his crib, we were and he's like, "Don't worry," like we gotta go get food. He goes, "No, I have stuff to make sandwiches at the crib." This man had white bread, tomato, and mayonnaise.
You
Took a bite, and I was like,
some
bro,
sandwiches and make them the tomato sandwich. That's an alone thing.
It's called survival.
Thank you. That's an alone thing. That's the correct
Exactly.
answer. That's
I love it. I love it. But I would
He's
never
serving
say
it up
no.
for
We
everybody.
got food at home. No.
Yo, thank you
Yo.
for putting that out there and saying yes. That's not for everybody. Because Kid got his meals. That's the one thing. Kid got his own like meals, and he just makes it. I would be like, oh, that's no. That's not what everyone should be doing.
That's only survival tactics. Like ghetto pasta is only.
Oh my god, ghetto
Yo, I hate
pasta.
ghetto pasta.
I've never had ghetto pasta, man. I've never fucking had
I
that.
got you. I'm gonna make you some ghetto pasta. You let me know.
Dude,
Let him know.
please.
What
Is it literally just
what fresh
ketchup and
ingredients?
spaghetti?
Yeah. Oh,
Yes.
That's
Yes.
That's it.
Nah, sometimes I add some chicken in there. You know what I'm saying? You gotta add
Okay.
vegetables. Sometimes whatever you have, sometimes you gotta just throw in there.
Okay.
I got you.
Okay.
It's all right.
Ghetto
You can
pasta.
throw up if you need to. You can throw up. It's all right. You don't have to.
Trash can will always be provided.
That's the next merch we dropping. Ghetto pasta.
Ghetto
I would like to
Oh
say-
my
I would like to
god.
say us as Oxymorrons Collective does not support this man.
Yeah. We do not listen. We do not back ghetto pasta.
No.
Listen, do as you wish.
The ghetto pasta is for survival tactics. That's it.
Yes.
If you like right now, New York City, we dealing with this air shit. You have nothing in the crib. You're having ghetto pasta. It's called survival.
I mean, I
Listen,
feel like
man.
there have to be some other options. Like, there has to be like the
the air
last.
isn't
There-
that bad.
listen,
Just walk
yo,
outside.
There are other options like PBJs.
That's
There's
what I'm
so
saying.
many
What
other
happened to
things.
peanut butter and jelly?
No,
Yeah.
We're jumping straight
We
to
just-
ketchup on
Yeah.
pasta.
We just don't, and he glopping it too. He's not like, it's not like he's going for it. It is a lot of ketchup on the pasta. It
Oh,
is a
no.
lot.
the next festival. Let me know ahead of time. I got you.
All right.
No.
Oh my
Sounds good.
god, he gonna
Well,
bring.
We'll see.
he
No,
gonna
I'll
bring
catch you. I'll
Tupperware.
catch you guys with Corey
Yup.
Taylor. That's when you guys
Yo,
gotta make me the
Yeah.
pasta.
He's gonna bring you.
Tupperware get on purpose.
It's gonna be ghetto pasta. Corey Taylor. We gonna all the bowls.
Well, you guys can serve it up for him too. We'll all eat it in the green room together.
Oh my
You got
god.
kicked off second
You just gotta agree to.
If we
You
get
gotta
Corey
agree.
Taylor ghetto pasta, he's kicking us off towards the end.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's gonna be your last date, man.
No, we just gotta agree to make a TikTok video and we cool.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, ghetto pasta.
Ghetto pasta.
So I have the honor of asking the last question. Every single person that we've spoken to have said that it is the most important question. What's your favorite color?
Oh, fuck. To me, it's
Puerto Rican brown.
sky blue.
Sky blue.
Sky blue.
That's a good color.
You
Sky
said
blue.
butter pecan
I'm sorry,
weekend.
pastel blue.
Pastel.
blue.
Okay. It's like a little soft blue. That's good.
Yeah.
Oh,
Lavender.
all right.
Ooh, lavender.
Lavender.
Okay, we got the
Yes, sir.
soft colors.
He said lavender. That's a solid one. That's a solid. What you got, Maddie?
Hawthorne's height black.
This is black.
I was just gonna say that. All right.
And I am officially saying this. My shit is slave ship brown.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay.
I love
Damn.
my people.
Yeah.
I love
All
my
right.
people.
Maddie,
I love-
black is not a color, it's actually a shade.
See, I didn't want to ruin the energy we had.
Black is an emotion. That's how I'm feeling right now.
Yo, but yeah, slave ship
It's
brown.
giving
is
a
my-
little racist, Maddie.
It's giving a little racist in here. Nah, slave
So
ship
little.
brown is the shit. I'm slave ship brown. You know what I'm talking about?
Mhm.
I'm talking about. That's before. But listen. Your ancestors was absolutely slave ship brown. It's just it got
Absolutely.
mingled up. It got mingled up, and now you butter pecan Rican brown. That's what that is.
Yeah.
There's different shades of this. You know what I'm saying? Jaffe originally had slave ship brown until the Spaniards came around. He was slave ship.
Yep.
They was slave ship brown. The
Or we
Spaniards
could
came
pick
around.
like red or something.
Yo.
Now I'm
What
croissant
happened to
colored.
blue?
What you said? You said
I'm
Aztec
croissant
red?
colored.
Nah, that's OD, bro. That's crazy. That's so racist. That's OD.
Oh, come on, man.
All right, we done. We
Yeah,
done.
we gotta start wrapping this up.
Shut it off.
So,
Yeah, it's about to go south. This is about to turn into tour bus. Shut up.
Getting dropped from all the tours.
so as I said, that's all the questions we have today. Is there anything that you guys would like to plug?
We like the joke.
We have fun here.
Nah, if anything we'd like to plug, follow us on all our social media. You know, all that good stuff that doesn't pay us, but we need it anyway. Please, absolutely. It's free for you.
2 hours, not one.
Exactly. And then follow us on all those DSPs, which also don't pay us very well, but we need it anyway. So please support all that social stuff. And we love y'all. Hope you love the album. Know you will love the album. And if you don't, so what?
Come to the show and buy merch. Please.
Damn right. Damn right.
Oh yeah.
Damn right. Damn right. Damn right.
Damn
And when
right.
that new merch site go up, that's about to go up in about a couple of days. Patron that too.
Hell yeah.
I will be there.
And get some melanin wipes.
Get some melanin wipes.
Yeah, and your Oxymorrons toothbrush.
And wipe your legs. Yeah.
Yo, melanin wipes. You gotta understand that's about to come out.
Yeah,
y'all don't even.
write that shit down.
I got the whole. Yo, I already have it in my home. I even have the brand I'm gonna create it with. This all happened in seconds. I'm gonna hit Alicia, kids. So you guys have an idea.
Yo, I already know.
I can't wait to see it. I cannot wait.
All right. Well, thank you for selling. This guy's been the Oxymorrons, and we have been the Good Noise Podcast.